Hey yo, I'm Colby from Sanitarium Productions. Today we're doing another G.I. Joe action figure review for you. But today we're doing a box set. Ta-da! So this is the G.I. Joe Resolute Battle Set. And this is the G.I. Joe version of it. There's also a Cobra version, which we may get to in a later episode. But today we're looking at just this set, which is the G.I. Joe version. So it comes with Snake Eyes, Beachhead, Duke, Flint, Scarlet, Roadblock, and Stalker. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 figures in this box set. And these are all based off the G.I. Joe Resolute cartoon miniseries, DVD exclusive release, whatever you want to call it here. But basically they made a G.I. Joe Resolute movie, and these are the kind of the figures that kind of go with it. So all of them are kind of molded into the likeness of the character from that Resolute release. So it's a pretty cool looking box set. These things are kind of hard to come by also. I guess they didn't sell very well when they first came out, and then they didn't produce a whole lot of them. So they become kind of highly sought after the fact. So yeah, it took me some time to hunt this one down. Specifically, I was looking to get the Scarlet figure out of this set, but it's just as easy to go ahead and get the entire box set as it is to try to find the one figure out of the set that you want. So that's what we did. We went ahead and got the entire box set for you, and we're going to go ahead and unbox it for you and take a look at each of the individual figures and do a review on all of them. So stick with us. This is going to be cool. This is the G.I. Joe Resolute Battle Set. The packaging, as you can see, is actually pretty cool. They did swap things up here. The original 25th anniversary battle packs were slightly thicker, so they kind of revamped the whole packaging deal here. It ended up looking very nice. The back of it here. So this set was from the cartoon series that they released. So I guess the premise was it was actually a webcast to begin with. So they had about 10 episodes, something like that, for about 5 minutes apiece. They would air one a week for, until they ran out of episodes, I guess. And it was kind of meant to be a new take on the G.I. Joe mythos. And they went a little bit darker with the Resolute line than they did the original cartoon series. I mean, not a whole lot, but they did take a few liberties with some of that stuff there. Poor Bazooka. We won't go into that right now. But anyways, this set is representative of the main cast of characters on the G.I. Joe line from that particular series. There's also a Cobra battle set that mirrors this one. Here we have Snake Eyes, Beachhead, Duke, Flint, Scarlet, Roadblock, and Stalker. Pretty cool set. We're just going to go ahead and open it up though for you. So like most of these battle sets, there's just a single piece of tape on each side. So we're just going to go ahead and slice that tape open. Then the flap pops out, theoretically. There we go. It's a little bent up, I guess. Then we just grab the cardboard insert and slide out the set. And we've got file cards inside here, and the rest of this now is recycling material. File card packs, and we've got the cardboard insert here. The tray itself just lifts straight out And then you've got this really nice mural diorama kind of thing going on, which it looks very cool, but I'm probably just going to throw it in the recycling pile. But this one is actually pretty nice. You can see the kind of cobra bunker back here in the forest. It's pretty cool looking. Before we do that though, we flip it over and we've got all the figure stands, so don't forget about those. It's taped in here, so we slice the tape open and we've got all the figure stands. Then that can go into the recycling bin. And here's what we're left with. Pretty cool looking. We'll go ahead and remove all these from the package real quick before we jump into the actual review of them. So I'm just going to start down here at the edge. This big missile thing came loose in the packaging. Just kind of stick it back in here just for the sake of argument right now. I don't believe any of these have the crazy rubber band stuff holding them in the case, but we'll just start pulling them out here and see. They're in there pretty tight though. Pistol. And another pistol. And that's getting in the way, so we'll move that out also. There we go. There is Stalker. And we've got Roadblock up next. His crazy big gun. And the big old bullet chain. And the pickaxe. And I pulled his hand off. Things are in there pretty well, actually. So let's go back and try attacking this from the legs. So yeah, if you're having a hard time getting these out, try starting at the legs. There's Roadblock. Scarlet's rifle. Scarlet. And we've got two more pistols. And as I'm finding out now, there are some of those rubber bands in place in a few spots. So we're going to go ahead and cut that one off. Alright, so with Flint here, he has this crazy attachment on his arm, so be careful pulling him out. You may have to go and feed his arm through the other side. This little piece right here, the ammo section, got stuck on the plastic, so Anyways, there is Flint. And we've got another pistol. And Duke. I'm going to flip this over real quick. And there are actually rubber bands on at least the next two figures. So I will go ahead and just slice that open. And out comes Duke. Then next we have Beachhead. So what I'm doing is actually pressing on the back of their knees from the back side of the packaging. Kind of helps free it up a little bit. And then pressing on the bottom of the boot. Just kind of wiggling in it that way. Beachhead. And now we have Snake Eyes with a sword and a sheath and a little bitty backpack thing over here on the side. Small pouch. Then he's actually in here in two pieces. He's got this crazy glider backpack on. And a rubber band around his legs on the back of this secondary piece of plastic. And then he comes out pretty easily after that. And there we go. That's all the packaging material dealt with. It is now recycling. Let's see what we have. Pretty cool looking set, actually. Snake Eyes, Beachhead, Duke, Flint, Scarlet, Roadblock, Stalker. We'll go ahead and zoom in on these individually now so y'all can kind of see them up close and personal like. Up first we have Stalker. Let's take a look at his weapons first here. One thing they did here with this particular set, they kind of tried to reuse the weapons as much as possible. So the weapons that come here with Stalker are pretty much the same weapons they use for everyone else, which is, I guess, good and bad. They are nice looking. This particular assault rifle, very nice. And it works really well with this character, so they've at least got that going for them. Got some nice silver highlights and then the green body of the gun. So that's pretty cool. Then we've got two of these pistols. See if we can get close enough for y'all to see anything here. Let's go over this way. Pretty decent pistols. They're slightly larger than what I would prefer, but they still look good. And he does have two of them, and they're the same. And again, it's the same pistols They come with Stalker that comes with everyone else. So you don't really have to worry about matching them up to anybody. It's just, they're all the same, so don't worry about it. Looking at the figure itself, overall, very nice looking detail work here. Standard articulation applies here, so shoulder joint, ball and rocker. Then the elbow joint is also a ball and swivel. Then you've got swivel at the wrist. No rocker motion there. Still nice though. The head does move 360 degrees. His hair piece here kind of limits his mobility a little bit. But you can still get a pretty good range of motion there. Then he's got the ab crunch feature, twist and crunch. Works pretty well. The actual ab crunch itself is a little limited, but swivel works nicely. Regular T-hook joint at the waist, double knee joint, and then swivel and rocker at the ankle. So all in all, pretty cool looking. The detail work on this particular figure is actually really good. It looks really nice. Lots of cool detail work on the pouch. Pouch is the knee joint, the knee guards also look very nice. So all in all, yeah, really cool looking figure. You got the G.I. Joe logo here in the center of his buckle, which is a nice little touch there. Up on his shoulder, he's got this cool sheath with a removable knife. That is very cool. It slides back in there. And I'll note that this is rotatable, so you can kind of put it in any position you want. It seems a little loose, but it's nice that it does hold the knife in place without having to worry about it falling out, and it can be repositioned. About the only other thing I'll point out is on his left leg, he does have a holster for a pistol, but it is unfortunately molded in place, so you can't actually remove the pistol. It just kind of sits there and looks really nice, and so it works for that. As far as the grip goes, you can hold the rifle no problem. Same thing for the other hand. Pistols fit in here very easily. The only real bad thing about this is, again, he's got two pistols and an assault rifle, so he can't carry all three weapons at one time. You can kind of tuck one of the pistols in his web gear, I guess, if you're adventurous enough to do that. So you can carry it, it's just not really meant to be, and it's a shame that that particular holster has its pistol molded in place and not removable. So, but other than that, this is a really awesome looking figure. It's a really good representation of Stalker. Very nice. Up next we have Roadblock. Starting off with his weapons, of course, I'm going to go for the big gun first. This particular rifle has always been a really cool looking accessory, and it just really works perfectly for Roadblock here. It does have the ammo belt as well. That fits in place here. And you can kind of rotate this up and kind of stick it in there like that, so it's a little bit easier to deal with. Or just leave it out. And it will attach to either side, luckily. So, whatever your personal preference is for left or right fed, you get to make the choice. But all in all, that's a really cool weapon. He also comes with this crazy hand missile bomb thing. It's pretty straightforward. Some little bit of paint but nice detail work on it. Then he has this really crazy looking accessory. Let me just get rid of this other rubber band real quick. This really big pickaxe thing. And I'm not exactly sure why they included this, but they did, so there you have it. It works really cool, really well as far as an accessory. It's nice and big and a nice kind of mace, axe kind of accessory, but don't really know why it comes with Roadblock or in this particular set at all, but it does, so deal with it. Moving on to the figure himself. This is essentially just a re-release of the... See, this I think came with the Outpost Defender set from the Rise of Cobra. Could be mistaken, but it looks the same mold anyways. Regardless, it's a really awesome looking figure. I'm not too thrilled about the head sculpt on it. And I'm not really sure why. It just looks a little bit off to me. For Roadblock at least. It's not a bad sculpt at all. Just, I don't know, just a little bit different. Maybe it's that, I guess it kind of makes him look a little bit older, which does make a little bit of sense in the scheme of the Resolute stuff, but whatever, it works. Articulation-wise, the head, 360 degrees, up and down motion. Traditional shoulder joint, so ball and swivel there. Elbow joint is the same, ball and swivel. And then just a regular swivel at the wrist. He does have the ab crunch feature with his big heavy flak jacket. It's kind of hard to tell that it's doing much as far as ab crunch, but the swivel is at least in place, so that's a plus. Traditional T-hook for the waist. Double knee joint. And then you've got the ball and swivel at the ankle as well. So overall, all the articulation we're used to and really nice. As far as the detail work on this thing, the flak jacket is pretty amazing here. He's got tons of pouches for ammo and little bullets all over the place. Really awesome flak jacket. It's got the nice G.I. Joe logo up here in the top. And if you look, you can see the belt buckle also has the G.I. Joe logo on it, which is a common recurrence here in pretty much all of these characters. So nice little touch to kind of bring them together as the G.I. Joe Resolute team. His boots have these really cool looking metal things all around them. So yeah, overall pretty cool looking. Let's see how well he holds his big weapon. Fits a little loosely in his hand, at least in his right hand. If we switch over to the left hand, it fits a lot easier and snugger, so you may end up doing left-handed, and something about like that would work. And rotate the belt to the outside and you're good to go. Or again, just do something like that. And he's ready to rock and roll. Even though his name's Roadblock. Still, very cool looking. One of the other things I will mention about the gun itself, it just so happens that it will fit in his back like so. So if he's not necessarily firing it on or whatever, he can still carry it around with him. The other accessories fit in his hands very nicely. So I guess maybe he's digging a place for his bomb to go. Maybe. I don't know. But still, it's pretty nice that that does attach like that. The other thing about it, this big pickaxe will also fit in his back peg. So he can do that. And then carry his weapon like this. Or like this. Or however you want it to work. Have a lot of options with this character. Very cool looking. I really like this one. The only downside I have is just the head sculpt itself is growing on me a little bit, but I don't know, it's still a little off, but overall the figure is pretty awesome. Up next is Scarlet. Starting out with her weapon, she's got this sniper rifle, or traditional rifle, however you want to look at it. It's a very nice sculpted weapon. See if we can get it to zoom in for us. Focus. Got really nice detail work here. So on the back you've got the ammo pouch with the bullets on it. One on both sides. Overall, very nice looking. She also comes with her crossbow, and it is rubber banded to her wrist, so we'll have to go ahead and slice that open. And we'll take a look for a second about it. So we've seen this crossbow before. Nothing too special about it. It's got some nice detail work on it. It does come apart. Like so. And theoretically we'll go back in place like so. And yeah, it works. It does have a nice kind of two-tone paint job to it this time. So there's a nice black stock and pistol grip, and the rest of it is that dark gray color. So yeah, very cool looking. Moving on to the actual figure itself. It is a nice update to the traditional Scarlet figure. The Resolute muted colors work really well here. Got some really nice detail work all around. The face seems a little off to me, and I'm not really sure why. Maybe it seems just a little large, but it's still really nicely done. It just seems just a little bit out of proportion. Maybe that's all I'm noticing. I don't know. Anyways, moving on to articulation. The head does rotate. Her ponytail does kind of limit some of that mobility, and also unfortunately kind of makes her look down all the time. So you'll have a little bit of a hard time getting her to look a little straight ahead. You might be able to work with that ponytail and maybe heat it up a little bit to get it to go a little bit further out. Shoulder joints, same as we've seen everywhere else, so swivel and rocker. Then the elbow joints as well, swivel, rocker. And then at the wrist, right at the top of the gloves anyways, you've got just a traditional swivel joint there. She does have the ab crunch feature. It's not really pronounced, but it actually does work pretty well there. So it's nice. Traditional T-hook at the hips. So lots of mobility there. Double knee joint. Then a swivel and rocker at the ankles. So overall, yes, lots of cool articulation with this figure. Again, the detail work on this thing is really pretty awesome. It looks really nice. Everything works well. As far as the only drawbacks, she does not have a belt buckle, so she doesn't have the same look at as the rest of this particular set goes. She does have the logo on her left arm right here. So you've got that going, and it does make sense that maybe she wouldn't have a belt buckle, but yeah, it still looks nice. It still works really well. So I'm not going to take points off for that. As far as her weapons go, the crossbow fits in her hand very easily, very securely. Either hand works. If I can get my hand to work. So no problems there. The other rifle is suffers from the same problem as it has always, in that it's really not got a good way for anybody to hold it. It's a little bit thick in the handle part, but luckily she can grab a hold of it pretty easily, and it still looks not awkward anyways, at least to carry around. Posability to get it look like she's actually aiming it is going to be a little bit harder to deal with. But yeah, overall it looks really nice. So yeah, this figure is pretty cool. I will point out that she does have this knife sheath at the top of her shoulder joint. The knife, I don't know if it's removable or not. I'm trying to get it to pop out, but it's not popping out. So we're going to say it is not removable. So much like Stalker's pistol, it's molded in place. So that is a shame. Other than that, yeah, it's a really cool looking figure. Very awesome. It's kind of hard to find this particular one by itself. So if you're interested in this, and you should be because it's a really awesome figure, you're probably going to be paying a little extra for it simply because it is pretty highly sought after. So, and rightfully so, I guess. Pick up the entire set, you're probably going to be coming out ahead anyways. But cool figure of Scarlet. And now we come to Mr. Flint. We've seen a couple of these different iterations of Flint in the past. This one is actually a pretty good representation so far. So let's take a look here. Again, he comes with the same pistols that came with all the other figures. They are pretty nice looking weapons. Nothing too special about them. And there are two of them. He's also got his traditional assault shotgun here, molded in a nice green color for us. Nice sculpting work here, really nice detail work. It looks pretty cool. Then taking a look at the actual figure itself. A lot of detail work on this one. Got a lot of big pouches. Lots of bullet shell holders. So all in all, it's an interesting take on Flint. The head sculpt looks really nice. Articulation wise, 360-degree head up and down motion. Traditional shoulder joint, ball and rocker. He's got the ball and rocker at the elbow joint as well. And the wrist is the traditional swivel. The ab crunch feature is present. The left-right twist action is easy to deal with. His web gear limits the actual ab crunch part of it, so can't really tell a whole lot about it, but it is there. Traditional T-hook at the hip joint, so lots of articulation there, no problems. Double knee joint, and ball and rocker at the ankle. So yeah, overall this is a pretty cool looking figure. On my particular one here,
I don't know how well you can see this, but there is a little bit of a paint splash here on his chest, which is a shame, but not that big a deal. Got a lot of nice detail work all around. He does have the belt buckle with the G.I. Joe symbol on it, like the rest of the crew. Very cool looking. He's got this crazy bullet pouch here on his arm. It is removable. If you yank his hand off, that thing will pop out. If it gets moved to the side or something, you can always just kind of move it around. It's not a problem there. Nice detail work on the back of the flak jacket. His elbow pads are a little odd. They work. Same thing for the rest of the pants. Overall nice. He does have a pistol holster with a sculpted end pistol that is non-removable. Why do they do that to us? Anyways, as far as being able to hold his weapons, shotgun fits in his hand very nicely. Same thing for the pistol. So no problems, and he can dual wield the pistols if you want. And we're going to try that here to see. Again, the only really drawback is the fact that he doesn't have a place to store his weapons. So he's got 3 of them and only 2 hands. So it's really difficult to figure out what to do with the other one. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of good options as far as sticking them in the web gear or anything like that. This particular one is pretty tight. So not a lot of slack. So unfortunately, you're only going to be able to have 2 weapons on them at one time. Other than that, it's still a cool figure. Nice detail work. Head sculpt is pretty awesome. Everything else is pretty much the same as we've seen on pretty much all the other figures so far. So it's nice that they can still reuse parts for these things and still make them look unique. So, yeah, Flint looks cool. Here we have Duke. Starting out with the accessories first. Same pistol that we've seen in every other character. If I can get this to zoom in and focus. Oh, dropped it. Nice pistol. Pretty standard. The assault rifle, which is rubber banded in place. Let's go ahead and slice that rubber band off. The assault rifle is the same one we saw in the earlier figures. This time, though, they have molded the stock out of black. So you have still the silver details on the barrel, the clip, and the actual stock itself. The rest of the main body is a nice black. So yeah, overall, really cool looking, but pretty much standard. Then we actually get into the figure itself. He does share the same lower half as the rest of the team with different color variations, so not surprising there. And he does kind of have this Arctic getup, which the rest of them do not have. But still, it's a nice looking figure. The sculpting work on this hood is pretty amazing. I don't know how well that's showing up for y'all. But it's a cool looking hood. It is kind of glued in place, so it's not removable, but still it's a nice looking hood. The detail work on his head, it's really nice sculpt here. He's got the communication gear on and a thermal suit underneath. So it looks really nice. They did a really good job with that. Articulation wise, the head does rotate 360 degrees, although it does run into this sculpted hood, so you do get limited motion there. And the up and down motion is also a bit limited because of that. It still looks really awesome. Traditional shoulder joint, ball and rocker there. Elbow joint, ball and rocker. The swivel is a little stuck on this one. There we go. Just need to pop it off sometimes. Then he's got a traditional swivel at the wrist as well. So the ab crunch feature, the swivel is nice and actually has a full range of motion on the actual crunch feature. So very nice, very cool looking. Traditional T-hook at the hips. The molded lower part of his jacket does limit his mobility a little bit there. Not a big deal, but it is there. Other than that, he's got same double knee joint and then swivel and rocker at the ankle. So yeah, I'm actually surprised at how well I like this sculpt. Downside is he still has the sculpted holster with the pistol in it. They did paint it. It looks nice, but it's non-removable. I don't like non-removable pistols. They've spoiled me thus far with all the ones that are removable, so. Yeah, I'm actually really impressed with this figure. I didn't think I needed another Duke, but this one is pretty awesome. As far as his weapons go, assault rifle fits in his hand really easily. Nice. And then the pistol will fit in his other hand easily. So yeah, this is a cool looking Duke figure. I really like this one a lot. Next up we have Beachhead. I've got a lot of Beachhead figures. And now I've got one more. Pulling out his weapon here. It's the same as we saw with Stalker and with Duke. It has the green molded and then the silver highlights. So really nice assault rifle. Pretty cool looking. And it works well with Beachhead. Goes well with his gear here. Let me pull this rubber band off. There we go. He doesn't have any other accessories, so it's time just to get to the figure itself. See, pretty much reused the same Beachhead head that we have seen in the past. So no real surprises there as far as rotation, 360 degrees up and down, so no problem there. This may have actually been a Firefly head. Anyways, it works well here. He's got a lot of nice detail work here. Again, the bottom half is the same sculpt that they've used for the bottom halves of, I think, almost all the figures so far. So, nice reuse of that kind of part swap mentality. And they did kind of match it up to the Beachhead character, so nice there. Articulation wise, standard ball and rocker for the shoulder joint. Same thing for the elbow joint. And then just a regular swivel joint at the wrist. I'm pretty sure this is the same upper half as we had with Flint as well, just so that you know. He does have different web gear, which is nice, and we'll come back to it in just a second. So ab crunch feature is present, but again, his web gear does limit that. He does have that nice baklava, whatever you want to call it, neck piece. Cool looking. Hip joint, standard T-hook. This one has a lot more motion than the rest of them, so I guess it's just a little looser fitted. Double knee joint, ankle, swivel, and rocker. So, yes, nothing surprising there after we've seen it 15 times before. As far as detail work goes, again, the same pistol molded in place. We'll skip over it since we've already touched on that. Belt buckle, the G.I. Joe logo is a nice touch. But again, it's on all of them, so no big deal. The actual web gear here has got a lot of nice detail work. It's different than some of the rest of the ones we've seen for this character, but it's still essentially the same. So it just works nice. So when you see him, you know that it's Beachhead. He does have the same knife and sheath that came with Stalker, which is very cool. So it plugs back in there and it does rotate, so you can move it whichever way you want to. Overall, it's just a really nice little feature there. On the back side, again, a lot of nice detail work here. The buckle's all painted silver everywhere. Same thing on the side here. You can see silver buckles on things. Not sure how smart of an idea that is out in combat zone. You probably would want to dull those down a little bit, but as far as making a figure pop, it works. The assault rifle fits into his hand easily with no muss, no fuss, and nobody named Gus, I guess. So yeah, overall, it's a pretty straightforward Beachhead figure. Nothing really special about it, but it does work, and it works pretty well. So yeah, cool looking. The last figure in the set here is Snake Eyes. And he's got a lot going on for him, so it's appropriate we saved him for last. So let's just dive into it real quick. Anyways, to start with, we have his katana. Pretty nice looking, nothing really special about it. He also has a sheath for it. The sheath does look like it's had better days, but the weapon does slide in there very easily, no problems. It's got this nice little peg on the back of it for attaching it to his person, and we'll get to that in a moment, but it fits in there really easily, securely. It's not going to fall out, and it slides in and out very easily, so you don't have to worry about trying to force it. His little backpack piece here, it's extremely small, so let's see if we can get zoomed in here. Pretty simple. It's just a small pouch with a peg on the back of it to go in his back. But nice detail work on it. So his assault rifle is attached via rubber bands, so let's get rid of the rubber bands. The assault rifle itself is the same as came packaged with all the rest of them today. This one is done in all black. So, pretty basic assault rifle, but it works. It's nice looking. Then we have this crazy backpack thing that he's got. And I'm going to pull it off of him so we can take a look at it individually. But before we do that, it is attached to the bottom of his legs with these little clip pieces. And they do just pop off like so. And then they just slide back on like so. So not a big problem. Then it is attached via the traditional peg system there. So just pull the peg off. So this is his glider pack, which he used in the Resolute cartoon show when he was trying to infiltrate to get to Storm Shadow to have his big old fight with him. It's a cool looking backpack. The actual handles themselves fold down and they fold away, so you can kind of rotate them around whichever way you want them to be. And they look really cool. A lot of nice detail work on this thing. Flipping it around to the back, you can see some more nice detail work. You've got the G.I. Joe logo right there. Very cool looking. And this big old button in the center that we will touch on momentarily. Then the actual cloth itself is just a real fine cloth. Black cloth. No special thing there. It's you can see through it a bit. So it's not like a heavy cloth, just a real light cloth there. But all in all, it works well as a glider. So yeah, pretty cool looking. And it is articulated, so you take the two arms here and basically press them in like so until you hear the little snap. Snap. Then let's see how well we can do this here. I'm going to grab it by the little nub thing there. And you press the button in the center. And it's supposed to pop out. And it's a little sticky. So it didn't exactly work right. But let's try it again. And it did the same thing again. It sticks. The little arms here are a little bit sticky, so you can probably work with that and get it to loosen up, but it definitely catches. At least on the this side here. The other side over here actually works really well. So I don't know why the other one is more sticky than the other one. But it's still, it works. Not the best in the world, but it's still pretty cool looking, and it does work. So we'll go ahead and set that to the side though. Cool little feature. Now we'll move on and actually get to the figure himself. This is pretty much the only figure here that is not reusing the same mold as all the rest of them, so something new. Pretty cool looking figure though. He's got the crazy green goggles on. And a lot of nice detail work on the figure itself. Overall it's a really nice looking figure. As far as articulation goes, the head does rotate 360 degrees. Up and down motion, so nice there. Shoulder joint is the same as we've seen everywhere else, so ball and swivel. So elbow joint, same thing, ball and swivel. And then a traditional swivel joint at the wrist. Ab features, twist and crunch. The crunch is, there it goes, it's just a little tight, but it does work really well. Traditional T-hook for the waist. Double knee joints. And ball and swivel at the ankles. So lots of cool posability options here. Always a plus for a ninja, so yay for that. As far as the detail work on this thing goes, there's a lot of detail going on. The shoulder pads are pretty cool looking. His web gear itself, pretty cool. Pouch over here, buckle in the front. His boots, really cool looking gaiters going on. Nice metal studs going around things. Some armor plating on it. So overall, really cool looking. On the back of his waist belt is a little peg hole. That is specifically designed for his sword and sheath. If I can get this thing to line up right. Move your arm a minute. So that pegs in place easily enough. You can go left or right depending on your preference. Up and down, so it does rotate, so you can put it pretty much wherever you would like it to go. And then his crazy little pouch backpack fits in place like so. So he's off and running. Take his assault weapon and fit it into his hand easily enough. Then his sword itself also fits in his hand very easily and securely. So a lot of cool stuff there. Then the only thing about it is you do have to take the backpack off to fit the other glider pack. And let's see here. And to be honest with you, I think that you have to take the sword sheath off as well. And you do, unfortunately. Then to attach it, you just reattach these little hooks at the bottom to his feet, and he's good to go. And that's really the only complaint that I have, is the fact that he has these cool accessories that don't attach to anything more than just the traditional figure itself. So you can't do the crazy glider backpack and the sword sheath and the backpack. But overall, this is a really cool figure. And I'm actually surprised. I was not thinking it would be that good of a figure, but in all honesty, it's a really cool figure. So I'm really impressed with this Snake Eyes figure. Here are all the figures from the set, side by side. All in all, a really awesome set. A couple of standouts here, specifically Snake Eyes, Duke, and probably Scarlet. All really awesome. All worth picking up the set for just for those three alone. But then you get some other figures, 4 of them actually, that are still really awesome. Maybe not stellar, but still work really nice. It's a really good example here of how they can reuse parts and cut down costs and still make a set that looks like a team, but still an individuals on the team. So, yes, very cool looking. Very awesome. And I didn't think to actually show all the figure stands here, but I will go ahead and do that. They are all in one package, and they are taped shut, like they always are. We'll dump them all out here. And hey, there's an extra knife in here. Who knew? So whose knife do you think that is? We're going to say it goes to Scarlet. Let's take a look at it real quick. Hey, and another pistol. There's all sorts of stuff coming out of here. Pistol, knife-wise, really nice, small little knife. Nice detail work, though. Now we're going to give that to Scarlet because she has that one on her shoulder that can't come out. And we've got another pistol here. So we're probably going to give that to Beachhead because he only has one weapon. So, Beachhead, you now have another pistol. The figure stands are all the traditional ones that we have seen everywhere else, so nothing special about them. The raised G.I. Joe logo and the file name up front. So there's Flint's, Snake Eyes, Beachhead, Duke, Stalker, Roadblock, and Scarlet. So yeah, cool looking. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and look at the actual file cards. Some people like these, so we'll go ahead and do it. Pretty much straight up traditional file cards here. The black background. And I'm not really seeing much in terms of actual relation to the Resolute stuff, but that's okay. So, Snake Eyes, Beachhead, Duke, Flint, Scarlet, Roadblock, Stalker. So yeah, cool. That is the entirety of the set, though.
That's been our review of the G.I. Joe Resolute G.I. Joe Team box set. All in all, really good set. Pretty expensive, unfortunately, so there's not all that many characters that really stand out in it, to be honest with you. The Duke figure is probably the leader in that. Pardon the pun, but yeah, I would say probably pass on this unless you can find one or two of them loose or single somewhere. So it is what it is. They can all be winners. But that's all the time we've got for today. So thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Drop some comments down below. Let us know how we're doing. Till next time, Yo Joe.